Have you ever woken up from a dream with the perfect answer to something that's been tormenting you for weeks? That strange moment where everything makes sense, but you don't know exactly why? Most people ignore it. Call it coincidence. Luck. But what if it's not? What if your brain is solving problems while you sleep, in ways your conscious mind could never achieve? What if the answer you're looking for isn't in more hours of work, more effort, or more analysis, but in simply closing your eyes? We've been trained to believe that problems get solved with logic. Think harder. Work harder. Analyze more. Our society values the awake mind, the rational, the productive. Dreams, they're just random noise, meaningless fantasies. Your brain processing garbage from the day. But that's one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves. Because while you sleep, your brain isn't resting. It's working at a level your consciousness can't reach. Connecting ideas you'd never link while awake. Testing solutions your logic would immediately reject. And doing it all without the filter of fear, judgment, or the rules you learned. Paul McCartney dreamed the complete melody of Yesterday. Dmitri Mendeleev saw the entire periodic table in a dream. Elias Howe solved the sewing machine problem after a nightmare. Coincidence? No. Pattern. Your brain in REM sleep enters a unique state. Normal logical connections dissolve. Areas that never communicate while awake start talking. It's creative chaos. It's where innovation actually happens. But you ignore it. Wake up, forget, and return to the same mental cycle that kept you stuck. What if the problem isn't that you don't know enough, but that you're thinking too much? Here's what they don't teach you. Your conscious mind processes about 40 bits of information per second. Sounds like a lot, until you realize your unconscious processes 11 million bits per second. 11 million. Every moment you're awake, your brain is filtering out reality, choosing what you see, what you notice, what you think is important. But in dreams, those filters collapse. You access the other 10,999,960 bits. The patterns you miss, the connections you ignore, the solutions hiding in plain sight while you're too busy being logical. But here's the cost you don't see. Every time you dismiss a dream, you're training your brain that those solutions don't matter. You're reinforcing the same mental pathways that got you stuck in the first place. Your creativity atrophies. Your problem-solving narrows. You become predictable. Not because you're not smart enough, but because you've locked yourself in a cage of waking logic. And the worst part? You feel productive doing it, busy, rational, in control, while the answers slip away every single morning, forgotten within minutes of opening your eyes. Have you ever felt this? Your brain doesn't show you reality. It shows you a story about reality, a story designed to keep you safe, comfortable, predictable. But safety and truth aren't the same thing. While you're awake, your prefrontal cortex acts like a strict editor, cutting out anything that doesn't fit your existing beliefs, your identity, your worldview. Dreams bypass that editor entirely. They show you what's actually there. The problems you're avoiding, the patterns you refuse to see, the truths that make you uncomfortable. That's not randomness. That's raw, unfiltered processing, and you call it nonsense. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, but instead of seeing yourself, you see a version of you that's smiling when you're not, moving differently, looking confident when you feel afraid. That's what waking consciousness is. A mirror that lies. It reflects what you want to see, not what's actually there. Dreams are the real mirror. Uncomfortable. Distorted sometimes. But honest. They show you the version of yourself you're hiding from. The problems you pretend don't exist. The desires you've suppressed. The fears running your decisions. And every morning, you choose the lying mirror. Because the truth is harder. And here's where it gets interesting. Right now, part of you is resisting this. Thinking of reasons why I'm wrong. Why your dreams are just dreams. Random firing of neurons. Nothing more. That resistance? That's the editor fighting back. Your brain defending the comfortable story. Because if dreams actually matter, then you've been ignoring valuable information for years. Decades, maybe. And that realization costs something. It means change, uncertainty, admitting you've been wrong. So it's easier to keep scrolling. Keep dismissing. Keep pretending that your waking mind has all the answers. But does it? Really? This isn't a bug. It's a feature. Your ancestors survived because they could process information in multiple states. Awake for immediate threats, sleep for pattern recognition, dreams for simulation. They'd dream about hunting strategies, escape routes, social dynamics. Their brains would run scenarios without risk, test ideas without consequence. The ones who paid attention to those dreams, they survived better. Made better decisions, solved problems faster. That's still in you. That same machinery. But instead of hunting, you're solving modern problems. Business strategies. Relationship dynamics. Creative projects. The mechanism hasn't changed. Only your respect for it has. But here's what makes it powerful. Your brain doesn't just solve problems once in dreams. It iterates. Every REM cycle, it runs the scenario again. Slightly different variables, different outcomes, different connections. Like a computer running thousands of simulations, except infinitely more sophisticated. By morning, it's tested possibilities you couldn't consciously explore in months. And then you wake up, ignore the output, and wonder why you're stuck on the same problem for weeks. The answer isn't in more data, more research, more conscious effort. The answer is in trusting the process you've been trained to dismiss. What if you always knew this? Here's the paradox that breaks most people. The same mechanism that protects you also imprisons you. Your waking mind filters reality to keep you safe. But safety means staying in familiar patterns, comfortable beliefs, predictable behaviors. Dreams break those patterns, show you alternatives, possibilities you've rejected. But possibilities are dangerous. They require change, risk, uncertainty, so you're caught between two forces, the safety of staying stuck or the danger of growth. And every morning you choose safety, not consciously, but by default, by dismissing what your sleeping brain discovered, by trusting the familiar over the unknown, both hands full. One holds comfort, one holds truth, and once you see this, you can't unsee it. That's the weight of awareness. Ignorance was easier. You could dismiss dreams without guilt. Now you know what you're throwing away every morning. The insights, the solutions, the creativity. It sits there in your mind, this knowing. Like a stone you can't put down. You'll catch yourself waking up, and for a moment you'll remember something important, something that felt profound, and then you'll watch it slip away. And this time you'll know exactly what you lost. That's not comfort anymore. That's conscious choice, and conscious choice carries responsibility. The weight of knowing you're choosing limitation. So here's where you are, a crossroads. One path leads back to comfort. Keep dismissing dreams. Keep trusting only your waking logic. Keep solving problems the slow way, the safe way, the way that feels productive but keeps you stuck in the same patterns. Nothing really changes, but nothing really threatens you either. The other path, messier. Start paying attention to dreams. Trust pattern recognition over pure logic. Let your brain solve problems in ways that don't make immediate sense. It's uncomfortable, unpredictable. Your rational mind will hate it. But it's also where breakthrough happens, where innovation lives, where you stop spinning your wheels. Both paths are real. Only one moves forward. What if you started treating dreams like data? Not mystical, not symbolic interpretation. Just raw information from a different processing system. You wake up, and instead of dismissing fragments, you capture them. Voice note, quick journal entry, 3 sentences. That's it. You're not analyzing, you're just collecting, because here's what happens next. Patterns emerge. Not immediately, but over days, weeks, you notice recurring themes, persistent symbols, emotions that keep appearing, and suddenly those random fragments start forming a map of problems your conscious mind wasn't addressing, fears you weren't acknowledging, solutions you weren't considering. The data was always there. You just weren't collecting it. The first time you solve a real problem with dream information feels like cheating, like you skipped steps, didn't earn it through hard work and logical analysis. That's your conditioning talking, the belief that only conscious effort counts. But watch what happens. A problem you've been grinding on for weeks suddenly has an approach you never considered. A relationship dynamic you couldn't figure out makes perfect sense. A creative project that felt blocked finds its direction. You didn't work harder. You worked different. You let your brain use all its processing power, not just the 40 bits your waking mind controls. That's not cheating. That's operating at full capacity. Integration isn't about choosing dreams over logic. It's about using both. Your waking mind is brilliant at execution, planning, linear problem solving. Your dreaming mind is brilliant at connection, pattern recognition, creative leaps. Most people only use one, like trying to walk with one leg. You can do it. It's just slow, inefficient, exhausting. When you integrate both, different story. You let your unconscious explore possibilities while you sleep. Then your conscious mind evaluates and implements while you're awake. They're not competing. They're collaborating. And the results look like genius from the outside. But from the inside, It just feels like you're finally using your whole brain. Would you change if you could see this now? But let's be honest about something.
This isn't linear.
You won't start paying attention to dreams and suddenly become enlightened. Some mornings you'll wake up with clarity. Others, nothing. Sometimes dreams will be obviously relevant. Other times, complete nonsense. You'll have periods where this works beautifully, and periods where you question if it works at all. That's not failure. That's reality. Growth isn't a straight line. It's messy, inconsistent, full of doubt. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never question. They're the ones who keep collecting data even when it feels pointless, who trust the process during the dry spells, who understand that breakthrough doesn't announce itself. It just quietly emerges one morning when you weren't expecting it. And by then, you've changed too much to remember what stuck felt like. So let's come back to the question. What if your dreams solve problems? Not metaphorically. Actually, your brain, working on challenges your conscious mind can't crack, processing information you can't access while awake, running simulations of possibilities you wouldn't consciously consider. What if that's not magic or mysticism or pseudoscience? What if that's just neurobiology you've been trained to ignore? Because here's the final truth. The uncomfortable one. Reality was never out there. It was always created in here, in your brain. Your waking brain creates one version, limited by fear, habit, and social conditioning. Your dreaming brain creates another, unlimited by logic, consequences, or rules. Neither is more real. Both are tools, and you've been using one with your other hand tied behind your back. This whole time, you had access to a problem-solving system that processes 11 million bits per second. That makes connections your waking mind can't see. That's been trying to help you every single night. And every single morning, you've ignored it. Called it random, meaningless, nothing. But now you know different. And knowing changes everything. Not because dreams are magic, but because you just realize you've been operating at a fraction of your capacity. The question isn't whether dreams can solve problems. They already do. The question is whether you'll finally start listening. Your brain has been talking. Both versions of it. Awake and asleep. Logic and intuition. Conscious and unconscious. The breakthrough you're looking for isn't in working harder. It's in working whole. And that starts tonight, when you close your eyes, and for the first time, actually pay attention to what happens next.